Okay guys, welcome back. I'm going to give you a quick lesson. We were going over the difference between simple and compound interest. Now we discussed what simple interest was. Interest calculated as a percentage of the principal. Principal, remember, it's the original amount that you either are investing into savings to earn interest, or the principal is the amount that you're borrowing from the bank, credit union, and you're going to actually pay interest on. So if you're investing, you're going to earn interest. You might invest $500. By the time that the term is over and you take your money out of that savings account or GIC or whatever it is, you might have $600. Your investment is going to grow because of the interest. If you are borrowing and you're paying simple interest, you're going to borrow an amount, but you're paying interest on top of that amount. So if you are borrowing $50,000 to purchase something, you are going to end up actually paying back in the end, $55,000 or $60,000 because of the interest. Okay? So, as we go through, if we are figuring out how much interest you're going to pay, there is a formula that you're going to use. Write this down in your books. I, where I is interest, equals P times R times T. All of these are multiplied together. I means interest. P means principal. How much did you borrow or how much did you invest? How much did you put in? R is the rate that you are paying or being paid. Now be careful when we're talking about a rate. A rate is usually stated as a percentage. Now remember, when we're writing percentages or we're calculating with them, we just don't use, if you're making 5% interest, we're going to write it as the decimal. So rate, and just remind yourself, this is always shown when you're doing your calculations in a decimal. So if you have 5% interest, you have to put that 5 in the thousandths, hundredths, place value. Make sure you know your decimals. And then T stands for the term, how long it's going to be in there. Okay? So this is the formula that we can use to solve for how much interest you're going to pay. Or they might say, this is the interest, this is the principal, this is the rate. Figure out how long you're going to have something in there. Okay? So, as a reminder, to find the interest, I'm going to just interest formula. Okay, make sure you know that. This is to deal with simple interest. Okay, you're going to pay at one time, you're going to pay your interest at the end, or maybe at the beginning, whatever it is. You're going to earn your interest at the end of your investment. Okay? Now, another formula that you need to know, the total value. Okay? So if you're figuring out, I've invested all this money, what is it going to be worth at the end? Okay, total value, formula, now remember, both of these formulas are going to be only for simple interest. And in total value formula, we use the formula A equals P plus I. Now you can see from the above formula, we're already using those variables to represent things, okay? So A, though, in here is your total value at the end. It's the final value, how much it's worth at the end. So A is your final or total value. P, once again, will be your principal. How much did you initially put in? And I, up here, is your interest. Interest. Okay. Okay. So the interest, or the interest earned. Okay. Okay. In your workbook, on page 290, okay, it gives us some examples down at the bottom. And I want to go over those with you. We're going to be using these two formulas to solve for them. Either how much interest have you paid, or what's the total value of your investment after you've earned the interest, or after you've paid all the interest, how much will you have actually spent? Okay, so let's go into this. You would like to invest $5,000 in an account that offers simple interest. These are formulas for simple interest, not compound. We'll deal with that later. Calculate how much the investment would be worth at each of the following rates and terms. We have lots of information here. We have the initial investment. Okay? It's $5,000. We know the interest rate, 3%, and we know the term, 2 years. So, if we are figuring out how much the investment would be worth at the end, sorry guys, why is this not focused nicely? Okay. We are finding out how much it is worth at the end. So we're finding the total value. What is it worth? Its value. So to do something like this, so example 1A in your book, A equals P plus I is one way you could find the total. With this one though, we have our principal and we have to figure out how much the interest is earned. We don't know how much interest is earned yet. All we know is the percentage per annum. So this is going to give you your total, but first we have to figure out how much interest is earned. What will be the interest? Okay, so we're going to start off with the interest is the principal times the rate times the term. And in this example, the principal amount is how much you're going to invest. $5,000. So you put $5,000 times the rate. R stands for rate, and that's in a decimal form. So here, this tells us it's 3%. That's like having 3 out of 100, which when we write that as a decimal, that means if we say this fraction out loud, it's 3/100ths. Oh, so that means the number 3 has to go in the hundredths place value. So we put it in the hundredths place value. Be careful. Some people like to put it here in the tenths place value. That's 30%. That would be lovely to get 30% interest. Okay, so our rate was 3%, so 0.03 times how long are you going to get that rate for? And the question tells us 2-year term times 2 years. Okay, so all you do then is you take out your calculator and find your calculator. Okay, and we're going to find the interest. Make sure you're at 0. So you take your $5,000 that you're going to invest. You multiply it by the rate you're going to get, 0.03. Okay, make sure you're getting a number there. So that's $150 times 2 because you're going to get that over 2 years. So your interest that you're going to make is $300. Interest earned will be $300. So your actual value, okay, this A means your total value, is your principal, which was $5,000, plus the interest that you earn, $300, which equals $5,300. Okay, so you use this to find out how much interest you make, this to find out how much you actually make in the end. Okay, one more example with this. Okay, as a reminder, always just write your formulas up above. Interest equals principal times rate times time. And then the actual value. Okay, actual value is the principal amount that you invested in plus the interest that you've earned. Okay, so B on your book says 3.75% over a 4-year term. Okay, so we start off with this to figure out how much our interest is. Interest equals P times R times T. Principal amount is $5,000 times the rate. Now be careful. 3.75 is 3% and a little bit more. So you make sure you put the 3 in the 3% place value, 300ths, and then those 75, they just go after there. Okay? So times 0.0375 times the time, it's a 4-year loan. So you quickly do your multiplying. Clear that. So 5,000 times 3.0375 times 4 years is a big $750 of interest. So your actual value is the principal plus the interest. Your principal was the amount at the beginning, $5,000, plus the interest you've earned, $750. So you'd have $5,750 at the end. All right, you guys try C all on your own. All right, watch the next video. Take care, guys.